Are you recording? Okay, here we go. I'm late as usual. All right, so we got kind of a special podcast for you today. It's like, I guess, preseason, we have to call it.
Pre-game show.
This is the pre-game show. But first, real quick, RJ, you guys stand up and show everybody this awesome Soulcraft hoodie you got here. Yeah, it's not from Soulcraft, but we have to throw a shout out to
Anthony.
I was going to say his name.
You're slow.
No, I prefer to call him Tony.
Tony V.
Tony V.
Tony V.
You have to check it out because this is really good quality.
Super good.
Yeah, and it's really nice. It still has a little dog hair on it, but that's not from Tony. That's from...
Well, we don't know.
Or is that goat hair? Who knows what that is?
It's like it's a mix of both.
Hair of some animal. But what we wanted to talk to you about today is we've had a lot of people calling us. It's really been exciting. One of the people that came to our polar bear event this year, Scott Tittle, decided that he wanted to take the idea and start a polar bear event or type event back east in Atlanta at Lake Lanier, and that's really cool. And then there's an event coming up like this weekend in San Diego called the Synthetic Swell. Marco Thompson, who spends like all of his time teaching people how to wake surf, such an awesome thing to do. And he is starting an event, and it's kind of based on a similar format. But anyway, both of them encouraged me to maybe put a video out on some of the advice that I had given them because they asked us what we did. And you know, the event, the polar bear event, really evolved, and we just kind of learned as we went. But we've learned some really valuable things that help us put the event on that I don't think we would have thought of doing at first. And so a couple of the things that we wanted to go down, and I have RJ because obviously RJ helps me do everything. But Rob is here. How many polar bear events have you been to, Rob?
3 officially.
Yeah, 3.
The first one we just kind of tagged along.
I think we only had 4.
Yeah.
So Rob really has been there since the first event. So Rob, you have the perspective of a rider, a driver, houseboat coordinator, and Rob, maybe you should do the podcast now, you know. But anyway, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about from the organizer perspective is the first thing you got to do when you do an event like this is you got to try to bring people together in a way where it's not about commerce and it's not about selling any particular brand. It's just everybody going out and having a good time, and their brand. You have to separate the difference between brand loyalty and selling, because
to do.
It is difficult.
It's hard.
But brand loyalty is easy to understand. I am very brand loyal. I love Tyga. Rob, he is very brand loyal. He loves a good Mariah inboard outboard. Is that right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Actually, Rob loves his Supreme V226, another great wake surf boat. And you know, we're both brand loyal, and we're both gonna try to. You ask us what's the best wake surf boat? We're gonna have some bias, right?
Of course.
I mean, he thinks his bias is correct. I think my bias, and that's okay.
And I know they're both wrong.
Yeah. Brand loyalty is fine. But the kind of things that a salesman would do that doesn't use the boat every day, that kind of stuff, you know, some of that stuff needs to kind of stay at home, in my opinion. Because when it gets on the event, it can take away. The next thing is, and this is a really big deal, and this kind of surprises people when people ask me. They say, "What is the most important thing about the event? What is the underlying, goal?" Hospitality is it. That should be the goal. You should be bringing people and be thinking constantly, what am I going to do to give those people the best ride possible? It should be the same goal as when you have people come for a day to ride on your boat and you're going to take them wake surfing. That should be your goal, hospitality. Wouldn't you agree, Rob?
Definitely. That's
yeah.
why we're here.
Now this next one, and Rob, I wanted to get your opinion on this, and Rob is blind here. He doesn't even know what I want to say to him. Is when we first started doing this, we allowed a lot more freedom. You know, go take the board out, come back, and we learned over time that you almost have to treat everybody like it's a preschool thing. You have to have very defined, okay, everybody can only go out for 12 minutes. You have to have stopwatches in the boat. You have to be in at this exact time, and you have to do. And we found that if you don't do that, things fall apart. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it goes back to the hospitality. You know, everybody wants to enjoy every boat with every board, with every person on their boat, and there's just simply not enough time. You know, half the time is talking smack to each other with the boards, and
That's all.
You know, you're eating up your time, and the next person gets shorted, and then it just snowballs into the next boat. So
And then people start to get frustrated, and you don't want any of that.
exactly.
And so, but as a rider, when we had kind of strict rules like that, did you feel, did that make you feel bad, or did it make, in the end, you had an enjoyable time?
You know, at first it was a little intimidating because you thought you had restrictions, but those restrictions were actually for your benefit, which
The
were better.
restrictions free you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was good because it allowed more options and more opportunity over time.
If you want people to have the best time, clearly define the rules, and then people will relax within those rules and enjoy themselves. Another thing that people kind of buck at a little bit in the beginning is they want to tell you who they want to be with. They want to say, I want to be with this person. They come with their friends. When we get people together, we group them according to their skill, weight, factors that have to do with what boards they're probably going to like together. Maybe they're the kind of boats they like. We don't really take into consideration too much who they want to be with. And the thing that's worked out great about that is at the end of every event, people are like, thank you so much for putting me with these other people. I mean, they end up with friends for life. I mean, Rob, you've made some friends for life, haven't you?
Oh yeah, and I'm fortunate with my job. I travel all through the country, and I can go to many states, call people up, and surf with them when I'm there, or meet them for dinner or for lunch if it works out. So the friendships and the connections have just been fantastic. You know, it usually only takes the first session, the first time everybody gets to surf through it. They're kind of quiet and timid inside. The friendships form quickly. And I think the best thing about that is there's no competition. By the second day, people are helping each other. Hey, what if you put your foot here? What if you try that?
I could totally attest to as a driver too. It's like at the end of the day, it's always the best time.
Yeah, I mean, we really, I mean, we've seen people come on that were literally shaking, physically shaking, right?
So nervous, yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of the event. I mean, literally. By the end of the day, they're making friends that they're still in contact with, and they're like friends for life because they share such an incredible common interest. It's okay to make people step out of their comfort zone just a little bit, because that's what makes it fun. And it really is a great time. The next thing is some of the organizational things. And Rob, when we first did this, we knew we had to organize the boards kind of by skill level, but we had boards shifting all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think you were the one that came up with the idea, let's just put 8 boards or whatever number of boards, split them up by boat, and put like a good sampling of boards, split them up so each boat has a good sampling, and keep the boards with the boat.
Keep them with the boat.
Keep them with the boat.
And again, that was just through experience, because I found after the first one, people would find a couple boards that they liked, and they wanted to try that board
They
on
would
each
steal
boat.
them.
So they would walk
They
off
would
the
steal
boat
them
to the next boat with the board. And it's like, wait a second.
We were constantly trying to find boards that we knew were supposed to go on this boat we couldn't find. But when we instead said, that board stays on that boat, it made a world of difference. It was a great idea. So I have to give Rob credit for that. That was a great idea. Memory stinks, especially when you're over 40. Okay?
30.
Yeah, 10. Have a notebook for each boat, or each group. Sorry, not each boat, each group. What I did is I had a stopwatch and a notebook. This is kind of funny.
Pencils.
Pencils, yes. I looked at each group, and I just quickly tried to figure out who was the person in the group that looked like they were the most,
Sense of justice.
Yeah.
Usually the women.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's usually
the
your
women.
wife.
yeah, it's that person with the strong sense of justice. Doesn't want to see anybody get 1 second extra.
Yeah.
Give that person the top stopwatch, and then also give them the notebook. And they're responsible for the notebook, and all they got to do is they time people, and then they give the notebook to the person when they get out. And the notebook is purely for the rider. We don't use the notebook and type anything up. So the riders write down their notes, and they keep that, and that notebook stays with that group all weekend. At night, I collected them because people lose them. What I did is at the end of the event, we took them home, and I scanned them in and made PDFs out of them for each group. And then I emailed those PDFs to each group. And then they were able to look at their notes, and they used that to do the reviews. It worked pretty good, don't you think?
That was good.
There's one suggestion that we're going to use for ourselves that we didn't do, and this would be a lot better. I would also recommend, we had a database and we had a list of every single board that was at the event. What I'm going to do next year is I'm going to have a number for each board. And and we're going to take a big sticker and put this is board 22, this is board 23, this is board 24, and maybe even have a color that goes with the boat. So that way, orange always goes with the Tiger, and the red always goes with the Supreme.
Yeah.
It'll help nail it down. But the numbers are great because what happens is they want to write down in their notebook board 22, and they write their notes. Because later they go, you know, I wrote down Soulcraft, but was it the Jetty? Was it the 410?
Some boards didn't even have a name on them.
Yeah, some was hard to tell.
Sure.
But if they just wrote a number down, they'd write the number down, and later they'd look on the spreadsheet and they could tell which one was which. So that's a good suggestion. A lot of other things that we do, like we have a questionnaire. I'm going to do an article on Wake9, and I'm going to give you access to the documents and the questions that we ask people. It's really important that you ask certain questions before the event, so that, and it's kind of a lengthy questionnaire.
It is, but it helps.
It helps because what are the tricks that you know how to do? How long have you been riding? Because these are the things that you help group people into a good group, so that they're gonna really work well together. Obviously there's regular and goofy, and that also has a big impact on it too. So I'm gonna give you access to all of the questions that we ask and all the documents, and don't feel like you have to follow them exactly. Do your own thing. Our goal is we just want to see more people get out and surf like this. The great thing about the polar bear type event is that, one, you're teaching new people sometimes how to surf, because some people come, they barely know how to get up, and that's okay. What really people get from this event is they learn how to wake surf with a properly weighted boat, so they really get to see wake surfing. But more than that, they learn about how fun it is to share wake surfing with other people that are like-minded, and that's the key. Anyways, that's it. We're gonna put all the documents for you. I hope it really helps. If you are thinking about doing something like this in your area, don't feel like you gotta have online registration and 50 people and a bunch of, get a few friends together. Start with just 2 or 3 friends that come together and just have a day where you guys all surf and trade boats, jump across. Start there. Just see where it goes. The main thing is go surf with others.